All right, Ken. I like to think of myself as a pretty nice guy, so I'm just going to throw you a softball this week. I'm going to clear the dance floor and just let you go on how you were right.
First of all, I'm guessing it's not the first time you have cleared a dance in one way or another. Uh, I told everybody that Ty Gibbs was a victory lane splashdown waiting to happen.
You did, and
I did.
That predates me on this podcast, though.
Yeah, that's the bad news. I started saying this roughly 115 races ago, over 3 years ago. Yeah, it took him 3 full seasons and then another 2 months. And then you throw in part of he ran like part-time the year before he started full-time in the Cup Series when he was still winning all the time in the Xfinity Series. So yeah, it's only taken 3+ years for me to be right. But by God, I am a patient man. And yes, I told you so. I told you he was going to win. He was going to win soon. And I think you are the third pod co-host I've had that I've told that to, if we go back that long. So now the question is, I kept saying when he does win, I think there's gonna be more to come. You know, I'm not saying he's gonna be another young Jeff Gordon and start just stacking them up, but I think there'll be more wins coming. Now I'm afraid to say that because not that I care if he wins or loses, but I don't want to be responsible for jinxing him. So I'm going to say that I don't know if he'll keep piling them up. But as I do also like to say around here, we'll see.
Here's the thing, Ken. Here's the glorious part of this whole Daytona Motor Mouths thing.
Yep.
We kind of make the rules. And so I'll allow you to say it. And if he wins, 2 in a row, 3 in a row, 3 years from now, no expiration date there. I'll give it to you. We'll still let you have another I told you so.
Nobody saw the Tyler Reddick thing coming. So this is one we did kind of see coming that didn't happen. So I don't know. There's a little reverse mojo going on here. But it was a good win. I'll tell you, those last I watched. Gonna admit, I had to watch it on replay. And the last couple of laps, a battle with Ryan Blaney was pretty spirited, but he just couldn't get the grip he needed down on the low edge in the low lane. And Gibbs was up in the high lane. And once again, a guy who elects not to come in and change tires defeats those who did come in and get fresh tires. So as of now, on the shorter tracks, especially, it seems that track position is key for now.
Yeah, I mean, those two guys who came in for tires that were chasing him, Kyle Larson and Ryan Blaney, being two of the best drivers in the sport. So it's not like he's holding off, Kyle Busch at this point, who we'll talk about here in a minute.
Both of the Kyles have different types of issues going on right now. One's still running up front. Larson, he's running up front, but we're pushing a calendar year since he last won a Cup race. And poor old Kyle Busch, my God, he's back there throwing haymakers with Riley Herbst of all people. So, yeah, that's not good, and it's not getting any better. So, I don't know how that's going to end, but I don't like the looks of it.
I'm gonna pull out a tradition unlike any other here.
Yep.
Better sporting event this weekend: the Masters and the NASCAR race.
Wow, come on! That goes without saying. They almost should not. There are times, depending on when Easter falls, there are times when the final round of the Masters is on Easter. That would be and when the final round falls on Easter, that'd be an easy Sunday to take off for the Cup teams, Cup Series. They almost, when it doesn't fall on Easter, I say they'd almost be better off in terms of gathering eyeballs. They'd almost be better off racing on Easter and not racing on the final round of the Masters. So, or maybe racing on Saturday night somewhere that week. But I believe the numbers, the TV numbers when they come out here soon will be slightly reflected in that. But I don't know. I don't know how many people would skip Bristol because they want to watch the final round of the Masters, but it's not zero. I can tell you that. It's definitely, sure. I can raise my hand and say it's not. I can prove it to you. It's not zero.
I knew the answer to that question before I even asked you, but we hadn't dusted that one off in a while, so yeah, I figured I would. You mentioned Kyle Busch. We're calling him poor old Kyle at this point. He had another dust up this weekend. Is there any more we can say about what's going on with poor old Kyle at this point?
There was some radio all over the place today. You get some radio feedback from their in-car radio communications. And the crew chief yesterday, as we taped this podcast, it was yesterday, the crew chief at Bristol was just flummoxed. He was just, you could just feel him wanting to pull his hair out, not knowing what to do. They did something that was supposed to alleviate an issue, and all it did was make it worse, and he couldn't figure it out. And he was just becoming a little bit unhinged, to the point that the spotter up on top of the tower there had to say, "Hey, bud, probably better off if we don't yell at each other during this, because we're both supposed to be rowing in the same direction." So
yeah, let's all just take it.
And he goes, "I know." He said, "I know," but so it's they switched some things around on that team at Childress in the off season. They brought in some extra people. Seems like they spent some money, and hired some extra know-it-alls, And I don't have any doubts about their ability to know it all, but it's just not meshing right now, and things have gone from bad to really bad to more bad, and now it's just getting worse and worse. And so the spiral is hard to stop. When a race team starts spiraling, it is so hard to stop, because that momentum gets going, that vortex gets going, and it's just, it's one of them spins that's hard to come out of. But all it really takes is, in another way, it's easy, because all it takes is one good week, and everybody's going, "Hey, now, all right, maybe we aren't so dumb. Maybe we do know what we're doing." So, and momentum's a weird thing in racing, because there's so many moving parts, and the nuts and bolts. They don't know if you finished 40th or third last week. The springs and the shocks and the steering column, they're just pieces. But somehow or another, it's almost as if all them pieces, when put together, seem to know that they're in a sinking ship, and they just somehow find a way to malfunction, break, not do what they're supposed to do. And it's an odd phenomenon, but it's been going on since the days of Vanderbilt and Alexander Winton and Henry Ford and all those dudes.
You got to turn the wrenches with a positive attitude. You can't be cursing them, when you
yeah.
And if they're looking, Ken, after your Ty Gibbs proclamation, if they're looking for genius, they need to look at you. Yeah. You in the market to join the RCR team?
If they don't mind waiting over 3 years, and that's about how long it's been since Kyle Busch won. So yeah.
What's another?
Yeah. Listen, with me, with my genius, it's my certain type of genius involves a lot of patience. It takes a lot of patience to see something come out the other side. But by God, it's a coming.
All right, we're gonna end this really with what we've talked about for the entire time. Some more waiting. Kyle Larson's been waiting to get back in victory lane since the Kansas race last May. May 11th was his last NASCAR Cup Series win. They're going to Kansas this weekend. Should he be favored in that race after his, recent performances, or do you see that, slump just kind of dragging on a little bit longer?
The betting boards, the odds boards, had him as the favorite at Bristol because he's good at Bristol. Like, he's used to be good everywhere and still is good everywhere. He just hasn't won. Sure. And I think he had won the Bristol spring race last year, and he had a chance to win this one. Last year, the Kansas spring race, where they're racing this week, last year that race was later. It was in May 11th, as you said, and that's the last time he won. Now, shocker, he's got a pretty good record at Kansas too, including last year in the spring race. So that would be a nice little side bet, is will he get the win before the calendar year is up? Is he going to win before May 11th? That only gives him a few more tries here, so yeah, he might win them all between now and mid-May, or he might not win until June or July, but I find it hard to believe that he's not going to win again, and when he does, he's probably going to win 3 out of 4 or something like that.
See, that's a more like concrete prediction than you gave for Gibbs.
Yeah, it is, and I'll probably live to regret it. I did put a big if, though. I did put a big if and a probably. I said if he wins, probably we'll win 3 out of 4. So I'm not signing nothing.
Well, we kind of saw the Gibbs thing coming, and you had talked about it in recent weeks. He finished in the top 6 in each of the 5 races before Bristol. It's not like Kyle Larson's been bad. I mean, last at Bristol, he led a race high 284 laps and finished 3rd. So,
I think Chase Elliott screwed that up. I think Gibbs was running for another 4th place finish, which would have been like his 4th or 5th this year. And then Chase spun all by himself, that brought out the caution with 20-something laps to go, that led to all the pits or not pitting and all that. And then, of course, the last caution was Kyle Busch paying back Riley Herbst. Ooh, Riley Herbst, I said. And that brought out and sent him to overtime. And he was able to hold on somehow, but he did.
I think at one point this year we will be able to talk about a positive. We'll have a positive Kyle Busch segment. Do you think at one point this year we'll have one? Doesn't necessarily mean he's going to win, but we'll have something positive, right?
That doesn't involve his son or wife, maybe. I don't know, but they
I'm not adding qualifiers.
They're having a good year. They seem to be doing all right, but yeah, I mean, it can't last forever, can it? I mean, no. But I mean, put him in a truck race here soon, so he can remember how to win something. Like Connor Zilisch did the O'Reilly race at Bristol and proved that it's not him because he won the O'Reilly race. Held off who? Kyle Larson by like by a car length or something to win the Saturday race. But then Sunday, the buzzards started circling again Sunday, and he finished, I think, 33rd. It's just an incredible. It's just incredible what's happened to that 88 team at Trackhouse this year with Connor Z. But they have to turn it around, don't they? I mean, he's too good, and they're not a ragtag bunch. I mean, they got pretty good stuff there, but something is amiss.
Buy low. This is your time to get in on the Connor Zilisch train in the Cup Series. Buy low.
Absolutely. No, yeah, you got to think long term.
That's Ken Willis. I'm Chris Vanell. This has been Daytona Motor Mouths, where Ken Willis's genius is always appreciated, and we'll do it again next week.